Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today. I want to share with you 3 readings today, 3 groups on the topic of creative blocks. We're going to be looking at what might be in the way of your creativity or expressing your creativity. And I think it's an important one because creativity is the song, the sound, the expression of your soul. So we're in a really healthy place when our creativity is flowing, and when it's blocked it can feel very empty, frustrating, and unfulfilling. There's a lot that each and every one of us has to offer from within. Our creativity is as unique as our souls are, and I would really like to help you unblock. If it's called for within each reading, what I've started doing is an energy healing within the reading. So if there's something that needs to be addressed that I'm called forward to address, I'll do that for you in the reading, and I'll give you warning before I do so that you can decide whether you want that healing or not. So let's go to the choices. So tune into your heart, or to your center, or to your true consciousness, or to your most progressive aspect. Whatever statement makes the most sense to you. And I will show you your group so that you can choose. We have here group 1, the 10 of Cups card with this little marine barnacle shell. Okay. Group 2 is the Ace of Swords card with this crab claw that I found on the beach. Yes, all of these actually I found on the beach. And group 3 is the Ace of Wands with this crab shell. Looks like the back piece. So take your time. You can pause the video if you need to. You can choose based on being drawn to the card or the token or both. If you're drawn to a combination, there could be messages for you in more than one pile. Just take the messages that serve you best and leave what doesn't for others. And I will see you at your reading. Hello group 1, thank you so much for being here with me today. Those of you who chose the 10 of Cups card and or with the little barnacle. So what we're going to do today is 3 different sections to this reading. One is going to be what is the block. The second section is going to be what caused the block. And then we're going to look at how to heal it, and that's the part that will have the energy healing included. So let's get started, group 1. First, let us see what the block is. So, Spirit, please, for group 1, what is their creative block? Okay, I'm already feeling an energy coming through, and it's like an undermining effect. So, what that means is when your creative inspiration shows up, there's an aspect within you or around you that undercuts it, and then it can't really take root in your life because there's an energy that's not allowing it to. So let's get the cards. Okay, but 3 flying out. So the first card we have is the Magician coming out in reverse. Makes sense. The Creator card coming out backwards if we're having a block. Then we have the 10 of Wands in reverse, and the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is not a really good feeling for you, group 1. This creative block, you're very aware of it, and it feels like a burden that perhaps you've been carrying for quite a long time, or you're surprised that it exists. It's not how you know yourself. So either this is a recent one, but what I'm feeling more is that you've been feeling blocked or forced away from expressing your creativity for a very long time, and maybe throughout your life you've been trying different ways, you've been using different forces, different styles, different methods, techniques, approaches to help clear this block or to help you really come into full alignment with your creative expression. And not being able to do that is making you feel quite empty or even like a failure. So it seems like consciously more likely than unconsciously, you're quite hard on yourself. Maybe even self-critical for not creating what it is that you want to create, you feel inspired towards something, and then things get in the way and interfere with it, and then you really judge yourself quite harshly for not being able to bring into creation what you're inspired towards. So let's get a little bit more about that block. Sorry, what is the block for group 1? Okay, I've got the Four of Swords peeking out, trying to come through, but it didn't quite, so let's continue. Need another deck, not the universal, but the vibrant. Trying to shuffle these without blowing out the candles. Okay, but I know that this deck wants a little cleanse. Okay, it's not too much. Okay, there we go. Okay, so please, what is group 1's block? Yep, 5 of Wands in reverse. It feels almost like you're at odds with yourself. So there's the part of you that wants to create, and then there's the part of you that resists. So there's like an internal conflict going on, a battle. A part of you moves forward towards your creativity, and then another part of you undermines it and pulls it back in. And you might be drawn towards people, relationships, jobs, or just creating situations where your efforts to create are undermined, whether it is draining yourself of energy so that you don't have the energy in order to create, or investing your focus into something that doesn't serve you, or being drained by a situation that's very dramatic, for example, or is just in and of itself draining because it doesn't give anything back to you. So if you're finding yourself in those situations, it's very likely that there's a part of you that's internally undermining your creativity, that doesn't want you to express your potential. So maybe you're arguing a lot in your mind, you're having a lot of fights, or you're just trying to push your own energy around and bully yourself into being creative the way that you want to be in order to create what it is that you'd like to create. And that's actually bruising you and making you feel more like this 5 of Cups, the destitution type of energy. Oh wow, look, the Magician coming out in reverse through this deck as well. Let's clarify the Magician. Spirits, please clarify this Magician card. Group 1. What is the block? Okay, so we've got the Queen of Cups coming out in the upright position. So that's indicating to me an emotional block. And look, see on this card how this little cherub character is looking trapped inside of the throne. So it's possible that there's a female figure in your life or in your history, perhaps a mother or a motherly authority, who raised you, who made you feel kind of trapped or controlled or contained. And so you've internalized that, and you're now dealing with your own creative powers in the same way that this figure dealt with your creative expression when you were a child. And there's something in here about healing as well, where your creativity feels to me like it's quite artistic. So if you are feeling blocked or drained, right, as a result of this block, it could serve you quite well to spend time in the water, near the water. If you're not by a lake or a sea or an ocean or a river, someplace where you can be near a naturally occurring body of water, being in the bath or even the shower can help you a lot, or interacting with the consciousness of water, for example, setting up beautiful pitchers, glasses, or bowls with water, and watching the sunlight play in the water, or the ripples, the movement of the water, observing that. That could also be very healing for your psyche, and it could reconstitute within you the movement and the flow of creative energy. Because when this creative expression bursts through you, right, it comes up from within, there's this automatic boxing in process that happens. And that's what this 10 of Wands is showing, that feeling that you get, and this one as well, but that's an after effect. This feeling that you get that your force is being contained, your power is being contained. And that can feel very rupturing or just exhausting because of that struggle of natural energy coming forward and trying to unfold and unpack itself, and then something trying to fold it down and stuff it back in. That's regressive, right? That's an unnatural process. So observing the movement of water and seeing how free-flowing and how it just goes through and around stones, for example. It continues its path even when there's an obstruction. Could be very healing for you to watch. Maybe there's even some videos that you could watch of water moving, like the river, for example. And the sounds themselves could also be quite healing for your psyche. So overall, it feels like there needs to be a shifting from this very linear, boxy, 3D way of processing information, and perhaps exposing yourself less to these very linear, structured, containing ways for now, and moving into an environment as much as you can. I don't know what is available to you, but perhaps finding ways, creating opportunities and gateways for you to interact with the natural world a little bit more, and just allowing it to touch you, allowing it to interact with your consciousness. Not trying to change it and not trying to make anything happen, but just being in the presence of a natural flowing energy like nature, and that will help somewhat also to correct this really forceful, overpowering, perhaps even oppressive energy that you felt growing up. So you can experience mothering by spending time near sources of water. Okay, so now let's have a look. Now that we know what the block is, let's have a look at how it's showing up. Is that what I said? I can't remember, but let's do that. Okay, so we have the Page of Wands coming through. Okay, the Knight of Cups. Oops, sorry, just trying to brush a loose hair off the cloth here. Okay. Ooh, a lot to say about how it's showing up. Okay, the Devil in reverse and the Chariot in reverse. Yeah, so it's like that. I've sort of described this already, so you can use this as a confirmation to check if this is, in fact, your reading talking about your energy. So there's an inspiration, right? The fire, the message from within. Okay, this is what I need to move towards. This is the potential speaking, coming to life. And then it creates an emotional body within you. So you could be getting quite feeling or deep as a result of that inspiration firing off. Like I said, your type, your style of creativity to me feels artistic. So there's an emotional association with your creativity. And then the Devil comes out in reverse. And then the Chariot. So this is speaking to me about a block, like an instant halting of that forward-moving energy, of that creative energy. Let's clarify the Devil, okay? Because the Chariot reverse is very clearly saying it's like the energy is very halting. If you imagine something beautiful picking up momentum and charging itself up, and like the beautiful intricate flows just beginning, and then all of a sudden someone flips the switch and it just goes off. There's nothing. That's how it feels, and that's what the Chariot is expressing. But let's get a look at what this Devil means, because that's going to explain more about the root cause of this block, and then we'll go into healing. Okay, interesting. I'm going to take that. So it's the 7 of Cups coming out sideways. and then make sure you can see that the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, I'm getting a sense of the 7 of Cups, but I really like to clarify it a little. Let me just read it off first, and then we'll see. So the sideways position is speaking to me about, first of all, it's like the wall. It's the wall that goes up and blocks you from continuing the process of developing your creative inspiration. The other thing that's showing up here is this snake. That's really lighting up to me. So there could be an entity that's actually interfering with your creativity or even eating up your creative ideas, like a parasitic kind of creature. So that's something that needs to be cleared out. Let's do that now before I continue. So you can skip through this part. I'll lift the card up like this so that you know if you're going to pause it or if you want to fast forward through, so that you know that the clearing is done. But if you want to participate in this part, you can just go ahead and continue watching. So I'll do a remote healing here, a remote energy healing, and I'll go silent for a moment while I do that. And if you're not sure if you want it or not, you can tune into yourself and ask, is this going to be progressive for me? And if you feel a yes, then you can continue. And if you feel a no, then skip through this part. And something else you can do is set up an energetic screen with your intention that you'd like to observe what this is, and then decide afterwards if you'd like it or not. And that would be letting down the screen if you do choose to accept this clearing. And if not, then you can just say no thank you, and that'll be that. Okay, so I'm going to start now. So the energy of the snake, the way that it might be speaking into your ear, that devil on your shoulder kind of feeling whispering into you, is words of self-doubt. Oh, I can't do this. You shouldn't believe in yourself. Who do you think you are? These kinds of shame-based and doubt-based thoughts, ideas, and energies. So that's how it pulls the rug out from under you. And it can be quite hostile with you for trying to break free from this block. So in a way that can beat a person up if they're feeling fatigued or weak to begin with, and they get another hit. Sometimes there's just not enough energy to fight back, and so that's another thing that could be happening for you. So let's also dissolve that cycle of defeat, of battling and then feeling defeated, and battling and feeling defeated. Let's completely neutralize and transmute that loop. Okay, and anywhere you might be feeling dissociated, numb, disconnected, analgesic, let's neutralize and transmute all that is as well. Okay, and anywhere you're feeling disconnected from your creative potential, let's neutralize and transmute anything in the way of that. And anywhere you feel disconnected from your creative potential, let's dissolve, neutralize, and transmute anything in the way of that connection. And allow your true essence, your true consciousness, to rebuild, repair, restore the connection with your creative potential, your natural, original creative potential. And you can visualize yourself here in a purifying white fire. Ask this fire to purify and dissolve any interference with your creativity. and any insecurity or self-doubt that might be residing within you or around you that interferes with your creativity. Let's neutralize and transmute that as well. And anywhere you shut yourself down or feel shut down, for example, anywhere there's a voice that says, stop, you can't, stop, you can't, to neutralize and transmute the origin of that voice, the cause of that voice, and any emanations of that voice. Okay, so that last part that I saw just now was like an icicle, leaving the Hara center, the sacral chakra, which is the center through which the umbilical cord attaches. So part of your creative block may have had to do with having icy reception from a maternal figure where your creativity was not properly nurtured, it just felt neglected or frozen. And that is cleared now on this general level. You may have felt like a heat sensation in that area. You may be feeling a little bit more energetic flow. Okay, so that concludes that. So I'll just lift that as promised, so whoever is skipping through knows that they can come back now because the clearing is done. Okay, so let's continue with the reading now and just get some final advice for you, Group 1, about clearing this creative block. And we're going to get this deck back for that. Okay. 8 of Wands, that's really nice. Okay, more advice. That is too many. No, it looks like that's that. Okay, so advice on the 8 of Wands. Okay, so one of the ways that you can deal with any residual mental programming that undermines you or shuts you down, so anywhere you're arguing with yourself or maybe telling yourself that you can't before you even get started, practice getting aware of that if you're not already, and then you can use the element of air. And just imagine that these voices, these ideas, these negative energies are being blown away in the wind. So they don't have any substance to them anymore. It's just dust. So let it crumble and let the wind element, the air element, help you to break that carcass down, because it actually doesn't have any fire in it anymore. It's just a pattern structure that you've been repeating. So the advice for you here is to become aware of when that system is turning on and disintegrate it, either with energy work, asking the element of air to please dissolve and neutralize these undermining thoughts that are interfering or blocking your creativity, and watch them turn to dust. Sense and know that they're turning into dust, and then feel your creative power just rising up within you, and feel your voice becoming more and more substantial and integrated into your daily routine, into your daily being. So I feel like there's something more for you, Group 1. Okay, so I feel like there's still a little bit more for you, Group 1, so let's continue and see if there's anything else Spirit wants to say to you about unpacking and unburdening yourself from creative blocks. So we have the Hanged Man, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and the Three of Cups. So this is like action, unconscious, and future. So what you need to do is just surrender a little bit to the process. So when and if you feel that resistance coming up, don't fight it. Don't put your force into it. You know the adage of what resists persists. That is a metaphysical law in the hologram. So don't try to force through or break through. That's going to create more of this burden feeling and burn you out. So what you need to do is pull your energy back. Don't try to force things and just observe what's happening, and that will take a major level of charge out of the resistance. So that will help you. That will help you restore this Ace of Pentacles from reversed into its upright polarity. And then you will have what you want. You'll reap the fruits of your creative potential. Things will start to flow through. So there's a healing that needs to be done here on resistance. When you notice this devil coming through, you need to fight smarter, not harder. So it's not battle. You don't want to take that darkness with you. You don't want to try to transform that darkness so that you are a better creator. What you want to do is detach from it and leave it behind. It's not for you. Just let it be what it is and disconnect from it and continue onward. Yes, okay, so that is what I have for you, Group 1. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope this was helpful and healing for you. I really appreciate you being here. If you'd like to know more about me or get some information about having a personal reading or even a consultation, you can have a look at the description box below. Thanks again, and bye for now. Take care, Group 1. Hello, Group 2. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Those of you who chose either and the Ace of Swords card or the little crab claw. So let's get started on your reading, and first have a look at what your creative block is. So Spirit, so what is Group 2's creative block? Just like a sluggishness in Group 2's energy. Maybe you're feeling a bit fatigued, or maybe it's like pulling mud when you want to create. It's hard for you to pull the energy through. Okay, so first we have the Three of Pentacles, describing your block, and the Fool card. Let's continue. Hopefully without spilling these tea lights. Okay. Okay, and then we have the Strength card. Okay, wow. Okay, and we have the Hermit in reverse and the Page of Swords also in reverse. So you're a very powerful person, Group 2. You're like an old soul energy. That's what I'm feeling here. And you've spent most of your time in the surface world, in the material. Which is very interesting and unusual for an old soul to do. So maybe you're having a new awakening at this point in time, and you're just realizing your soul's consciousness, and you're starting to hear its messages or understand information in a way that is new for you, that you've never felt before. So maybe in the past you were much more linear and rational, and now that doesn't seem to be working for you so much anymore. You're noticing bouts of inspiration or intuition, and it's kind of unsettling or confusing you because it's not the normal way that your inner dialogue or your inspiration usually runs. So that is the block. It's about how do you make sense of and process these energies. Let's get a little bit more though. Spirit, can you please tell us more about Group 2's block? Let's clarify to clarify anything? No, we just tell us some more spirit. Okay. Alright. Careful what you wish for. So here's the Judgment card, the Page of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Six of Wands in reverse, and the Ace of Cups upright. Ooh, interesting. Maybe you feel like you want to run and hide, actually, group 2. It could be a self-created block where you're resisting this newfound flow that's coming through. You don't quite trust it. It feels to me like you're exactly where you need to be at this point in time, and you're at a crossroads. So you have a choice here. You don't have to go along with this new style, new way, new energy that's coming through you from within. You can always go back to your old ways, but that does feel to me by these cards that would be going backwards for you. There's a new pathway that's opening for you, and a lot of beauty and potential and creative joy on that path. And yet there are parts of you that still feel a bit uncertain, and that feels to me like it's coming from your mind, actually, even though these two cards would indicate otherwise. I'm not seeing any swords, but it's the way that your understanding of reality has been constructed, and the way that this inspiration is coming through you, this creative flow is showing up. It doesn't really match this structured linear way of being that you've been going through for so long. So there's a disconnect there, and maybe that's making you feel less powerful, or like you're not up to the task, like you don't feel mature enough to handle this information, or you don't feel like you've got the structure in place to be the conduit of this information, whether it's in your inner life or understanding how to integrate into your physical reality. But if you sort out the emotional piece and the psychological piece, you get the tools and the understanding and the reference points that you need, then your mind will come on board, and it will be much easier for you to trust your creativity, because you'll have created a structured foundation in your daily life, or you'll have created some structured ideas that suit and complement this creative flow that's coming through. So some intuition coaching might be useful for you. It might be helpful for you to learn about spirituality a little bit more, but always use your discernment about what is accurate and true for you, since I am getting an old soul kind of energy. And I'm seeing that you do know how to go within, but maybe you resist going within. Okay, so we'll get a little bit on that, but it feels to me like the answers you require are within you. You just need to let go of your old ways of doing things. So if you have an attachment there, you could look at what that is about and help yourself to disconnect from the attachment to those old ways of doing things or thinking about things, and become a little more open-minded or clear-headed about how to move through this new cycle. It's like you've given birth within yourself to a new consciousness, and you have to get used to this new body. This new shell needs to be created, like a snake shedding its skin, right? There's a period of vulnerability and uncertainty, and like a feeling of exposure until the new skin forms. So that's the stage that you're in, and you're perfectly equipped and well capable to understand what it is that you need to do and how to do it. You just have to disconnect from this idea about how things have to be or should be. And that requires a little bit of trust, but you can trust yourself. You can, yes, trust yourself. And you will be able to guide yourself through this and create the new structure, the new home for your soul to inhabit. Well, that was really nice. Thank you, group 2. So let's see if there's any more advice for you, and I'd like to use this deck for that. Spirit, is there any advice, please, for group 2? Oops. Okay, there we go. So the Hanged Man. Oh, that also came through as advice for group 1. Okay, the 5 of Wands. Any more advice, please? Spirit, for group 1. Sorry, for group 2. Any advice, Spirit, for group 2? Okay, your advice, group 2. The mental energy, that inner battle that you're having, it's not a battle so much as a resistance. Conflict, arguing, questioning, doubting, is this right, is this true? There's not a lot of emotional energy in that process, but it's like there's a resistance to opening your mind and accepting a new way of being. So Spirit is asking you here through these cards to just suspend judgment and try to understand this consciousness, your natural consciousness actually, through a more open mind. So that doesn't mean that you have to change anything or commit to anything. You just need to listen without the fear. So that will really help you greatly. And then once you really have more information and understand a little bit more clearly what it is actually that's going on within you, what is communicating with you from within, then you'll be able to trust it more, and you'll find the right buckets for this new experience or these experiences that you are having. So for the energy healing, which I'm going to go into now, so if you don't want the energy healing, you can pause or cut or move through this part of the video, but this will be the last section for this group. The healing that's coming through here is actually interesting. So you can, like I explained to group 1, you can put up a little screen if you want, just to observe without getting the energy. So you can ask for the information about this energy healing that I'm about to do and not the energy. And then after watching it, you can decide if you want to take down that screen and accept the healing. And you can watch through it again in order to do that, or you can just, shut that down, close it off, and move on. It's up to you. So decide from within whether this feels like something that would be healing and progressive for you, and if not, then this is just not for you, and that's okay. But if it is, let's get started here. So this is going to be actually an infusion. You just need a little bit of high frequency energy to help your mind let go and trust, and this could help to unblock any blockages that might be in your heart, although that's not what I'm feeling here. I'm feeling like there's a whole world within you to explore, and you just found the key. So you've just unlocked the door to your true self, and you're in need of a little bit of trust in that. So some love actually is what I'm going to do here. We're going to send some love to group 2, please, to help them. Just sending love to assist group 2 in whatever way is most progressive for group 2, please. I'm sensing from some of you that your past lives, some past lives where you were damaged, injured, harmed, or oppressed for being who you are, is coming through. I'm seeing broken bones healing. So that could be one of the reasons why there's a hesitation. You remember the past on some subconscious level. And from the soul, there's a resistance to being who you are. And it's a very clear, cool Ace of Swords energy. There's just a logical understanding that it's not safe to be you. That's what's reading through. So sending love and healing to those wounded, tired, really battle-weary parts of you. So that's that for this healing and this reading. Thank you so much, Group 2, for joining me. I really appreciate you. I wish you all the best on your journey. If you'd like to know more about me or organize a personal reading or a private consultation, you can have a look at the details in the description box. And that's all for now. Thank you so much, Group 2. Hello, Group 3. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Welcome, those of you who chose either/N, the Ace of Wands card, and the little crab backplate. So let's get started on your reading and have a look at what is the creative block that you're experiencing. Seems like you're keen to heal it. Okay, so we've got the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands coming out both upright. A lot of passion coming through, but it feels a bit iced. So let's see. Let's continue to pull cards. The Three of Cups. So we've got the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and the Star in reverse. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. That initial energy is in this sequence. So you have a lot of firepower, Group 3. You might be physically very strong or very large. I'm feeling that you're a very grounded, earthy person. And even though these fire cards are showing up, you do know how to get things done and make things. So it's like I'm seeing somebody who has the strength to lift boulders and build walls and build stone houses and, you know, create really physically challenging things with their body's power. And you've gotten yourself quite a lot of accolade or community status and appreciation or just success with this ability that you have to create and build and bring things forward. And if you're not relating to the physical construction element, it could be that you're a very powerful influencer. So you can move really big blocks of reality field with your will, with your intention, and with your influence. I'm not feeling anything negative or reversed in the way that you influence. You're just a very powerful person and you're very good with your hands. So the creative block is showing up here. Maybe you're trapped in an argument with someone. It could be in a romantic relationship, in a partnership that you have, or in a business partnership that you have. I'm not sure yet. It could be multiple because this is a general reading, so there are people in different situations. You know, everybody has their own unique life who's listening to this reading. But in any case, there is some kind of loop that you're stuck in, a pattern of argument, and it feels very petty. Like it's really minuscule, but you just keep going back to this argument with somebody. And it's subverting your creative vision because your focus is being diverted away from your North Star and into these silly arguments, and you're actually blocking yourself. So it's tiny, this energy, compared to your actual power. And so see here, Eight of Swords, she's doing it to herself. So there is some part of you that's just choosing to stay stuck here. And I don't mean to be rude here, but it does feel like it's a little bit adolescent. So maybe there's some previous versions of you that still need to be matured and grown up. Maybe you're having an argument with your mother, for example, and it's regressing you to the time when you were 16, 17 years old, fighting with your mom on what you could do and where your power actually was. So the key here could be to not forget the present moment, the here and now, and recall the power that you actually do have. You might not be fully aware in comparison to others, for example, not in a judgmental way of comparing, but just you're above average in terms of the force that you have. So everybody is powerful and everybody is creative, but where we have our influence can be different. So where one person might be a very powerful influencer in the subtle realm, you're a very powerful influencer in the physical. You know, you've got really strong haunches on you, for lack of a better way of explaining that energy, and don't forget that. remember your power and reroute yourself, divert and correct the way that you're spending your energy. You don't need to be doing this. You're so much bigger than that. So it's this involvement in this loop, in this cycle, that's creating the block in your creativity. So let's continue here, although it seems pretty clear, and I think that's where the healing will go, into dissolving this loop. But let's see if there's anything else for you. First, group 3, about your creative block. Okay, so it's the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles coming out upright. There's a juiciness about this. So it feels to me like you're not that trapped here. Maybe there's some annoying obstacles that you need to get through, and that could be what this loop is about. Maybe there's just some bureaucratic argument that you are going through, having to push forward some paperwork, getting some permission from some official bodies to get something going, some project moving. And it could be triggering these energies from your adolescent self. So one good trick for getting out of blocks and dissolving blocks is to find the root cause of that block energetically. So the way that this current situation is making you feel, see if you can identify that, and then travel back into your timeline, into your consciousness, and ask for, when did you feel this way last? Or sorry, when was the first time you felt this way? And that can give you some clues about what the pattern in the block actually is. So if it has to do with an argument that you used to have with your mother, and it made you feel irritated and annoyed and exasperated, and in a way you gave away your power, maybe that needs to be healed and cleared out so that you can dissolve this loop and then approach this present day situation with a new maturity, with a new attitude, with a new energy. And you are mature. I'm not saying that you are immature, but I'm saying that this immature part of you is unconsciously running the show. It's responding and reacting to this annoying situation you're having to deal with now, and that's impeding your ability to move through, because there's a power giveaway in that past version of you that is still giving away your power. So that is something that needs to be remembered and reclaimed. And that's where we're going to take the energy healing, but I feel like there's still some more that you need to hear, group 3, and possibly you'll hear what you need to hear in order to evaporate this loop entirely. It does not feel like it has any root system, really. It's just like a superficial issue that's blocking your creativity. Okay, interesting. The 10 of Swords in reverse. Okay. So what this feels like is you're questioning your own power, even though you don't need to be. All your power is still intact and well placed, and it's at your disposal. But you feel like this situation, maybe it's been going on for so long, it's been like this splinter under your skin for so long, and that inflammation is starting to really frustrate and irritate you and make you feel like it's not worth it, but this is a block on your true path. And so on some level you know that you need to break through this, but it's just become so annoying that you're losing heart, and you don't want to. This is how your soul is feeling about maybe the thoughts you're having about giving up. So don't give up here, group 3. Don't give up. You can clear this, and if you've tried all the practical channels to resolving this block, then I would really suggest looking at a metaphysical solution, because this energy is coming from a non-physical place. So if you're finding that you've crossed all your T's and you've dotted all your I's, you've done everything that you need to do to get this project in motion, and yet for some reason, inexplicably, irrationally, it's not happening for you yet, there's some thing on the subtle plane that needs to be corrected for you, just to unblock things and get that water flowing again. Okay, so that's what you needed to hear, group 3, that don't give up message, you're on the right track. So let's see what cards we need for the healing, group 3, for the energy healing. And I'm going to switch my deck. Yes, okay, so group 3 is healing. Okay, Chariot in reverse. Oh, nice, and the Star, which we had here. So here it was in reverse, and here it's upright. So, okay, it's clear. So this is what the energy healing is going to be about. And once I explain it, you can decide whether or not you want to participate in this section. You can use your intuition to decide. You can use your inner knowing. You can also, as I've explained to the other two groups, put up a little energetic screen and observe the healing first, and let that screen be a shield so that you only get the information, not the energy, and then through that process you can decide whether or not you want to participate in the healing. And if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. So I'll explain now what the healing is going to be through the cards. So what I'm seeing is that you are on the right track, and your trust and your faith in that needs to be corrected and reconnected. Because right now you are running regressively. You're about to move forward on something that does not serve your greatest good. So that feeling of hopelessness and despair and dismay needs to be dissolved and moved out, and then your consciousness reconnected to your faith in your mission. So don't let these annoying circumstances shut you down or divert you from your true path. It's just a diversionary tactic, and ultimately you're bigger and stronger than that. So remember that you are much more powerful than these little niggles that are showing up to annoy you and trip you up. So let's see, what is the healing that needs to happen? You just need to remind yourself of what your true purpose is and correct your own tracks here. So don't get thrown off by decoys. That's the message for you. That is the creative block. It's coming from outside, triggering something that's really just a shell from within. So you could clear out that shell with some of your own personal healing, and then the reality field should correct itself for you. But mainly you need to reestablish your trust in your path and your faith in your path. Know that you will find a way through. Get a little bit creative about how you want to pass through this, but if you've done everything that you possibly can and things still aren't clicking, then just correct the way that you're thinking about the situation and remind yourself about your power and your influence in this world. It's your own undermined idea that maybe I should just give up. Like, you feel like throwing your hands up in the air, and that's actually at this point what is creating the block. So this is the healing you need. We need to reconnect the path for you, because some forces come in and sort of cut the path, snipped off that channel. So let us re-establish that connection that you have with your true path, repair any chasms that have been created on your path, and establish a nice, clear, positive energy flow on your most progressive, authentic journey. Thank you so much for being here, Group 3. That's all for the healing. If you'd like to know more about me or organize a personal reading or consultation, you can have a look at the details below. And that's all for now. Thank you so much, Group 3. Take care.